on your side. NBC12 News starts now.
First at 4, trouble in paradise. You're taking a live look at Hawaii as the Big Island is bracing for the first major hurricane to make landfall there in 26 years. And right now, Hurricane Lane is a Category 4 with high winds and torrential downpours soaking the island as the storm approaches. Meteorologist Jim Duncan is tracking Lane's path. We're going to check in with him in just a moment. First, we're going to begin with Natasha Chen in Hawaii with the latest on preparations and the storm's impact so far.
Long gas lines, empty store shelves.
Trying to prepare.
Boarded up businesses.
We're breaking down a lot of stuff that's going to fly away because of the heavy winds.
Signs people in Hawaii are taking warnings like this seriously.
Be prepared to shelter in place, 14 days of food and supplies and water.
Much of the state is under a hurricane warning as the first signs of the storm begin to move in. Rain from its outer bands triggered landslides onto parts of a major road on the Big Island Thursday. Officials warn Lane could drop as much as 30 inches of rain.
We're extremely concerned about the potentials for inland flooding, landslides occurring.
Another major concern, dangerously high winds and waves as high as 20 feet.
Pretty much mirroring our tsunami evacuation protocols if anything comes to that point.
Hundreds of people have been bused to shelters.
FEMA has been hyper-focused on making sure that we're properly set up to support food, water, as well when it comes to commodities.
All public schools are closed and many state employees have been asked to stay home.
We're getting ready. We're prepared. The shelters are open.
All steps officials hope will keep people safe as they brace for the worst and hope for the best. In Kona, Hawaii, I'm Natasha Chen.
More than 1 million people in Hawaii are seeing the first signs of Hurricane Lane right now. The storm is expected to make landfall between now and Saturday and could bring as much as 20 inches of rain in some places. For more on Lane's path, let's check in with meteorologist Jim Duncan in our First Alert Weather Center. Jim?
Yeah, well, this is a powerful storm, obviously. It's been a long time since Hawaii's had to deal with a storm of this magnitude. A Category 4 now, as mentioned, 130-mile-per-hour winds. Notice the center of it, though, is passing south of the islands here, but there is obviously really strong wind threat, heavy rain threat. It is still a significant threat there, and it is just kind of inching off into the western direction. So they're going to be looking at impacts from that right on through at least the start of the weekend. In fact, the hurricane warnings go until Sunday morning for many of the islands here, and it includes Honolulu, all of these areas. The forecast track from the hurricane centers out there in the Pacific indicate it's going to weaken a bit as it kind of jogs to the north and then turns back to in this direction toward the west. And that is, by that point, perhaps becoming a tropical storm. So eventually it will gradually weaken, but it is going to, again, produce major impacts over Hawaii over the next 3 days. For us, the weather has just been delightful. You can't complain about what we're dealing with right now weather-wise here in the Mid-Atlantic. I'll have more in our forecast coming up. Heather?
All right. Thanks, Eric, very much. Well, happening right now, airline investigators are on their way to Minnesota to figure out what caused a vintage military plane to crash. It happened this morning just north of Minneapolis. Carla Reddit's in our First Alert Center. Carla, was anyone hurt?
Well, the pilot is in the hospital with serious injuries, but amazingly, the 65-year-old is expected to survive. Take a look at this video. The Korean War-era T-28B plane crashed on the grounds of Anoka County Airport this morning. Although it's not yet known what led to the plane going down, images from our sister station in Minneapolis showed the fuselage broken into pieces near the end of a runway and being consumed by flames. Now you can see the sky above was filled with thick black smoke. Fortunately, 2 Good Samaritans happened to be driving by when all of this happened. They pulled over, jumped the airport fence, and pulled the pilot away from the wreck. Again, that pilot is in serious condition, but is expected to survive. So that's some good news out of this frightening situation. On your side in the First Alert Center, Carla Reddit, NBC12.
All right, thanks very much. Well, a Georgia woman who pleaded guilty to leaking secret reports on Russian hacking has been sentenced to more than 5 years in prison. Reality Winner told a Georgia judge today that she took responsibility for an undeniable mistake made, and she apologized for her actions. The former National Security Agency contractor pleaded guilty in June to copying a classified report, tucking it into her pantyhose, and mailing it to an unidentified news organization. Winner was sentenced to 63 months with 3 years probation. ISIS has claimed responsibility for a deadly knife attack near Paris. A government spokesman said the two people killed were the attacker's mother and sister, and the incident appears to be more of a family dispute. France's interior minister said the attacker had psychiatric problems, calling him unstable rather than a committed terrorist. A third person who was seriously injured was not a member of the family. The head football coach at Ohio State University has been sidelined for how he handled domestic abuse allegations against an assistant coach. Urban Meyer has been suspended for the first 3 games of the season. The school's decision to punish Meyer follows a 2-week investigation. It looked into how Meyer reacted to accusations that former Buckeyes assistant coach Zach Smith abused his ex-wife, Courtney Smith. Meyer is issuing an apology.
I'm fully aware that I'm ultimately responsible for the situation that has harmed the university as a whole and our Department of Athletics and our football program. I want to apologize to Buckeye Nation.
Many Ohio State fans defended the university's decision, but others say the punishment and Meyer's mea culpa don't go far enough. Meyer's first game back on the field will be September 22nd. Ben Affleck has reportedly entered rehab. A source close to the actor says he is seeking treatment for alcohol addiction. The 46-year-old has been open about his struggles, previously seeking treatment in 2001 and 2017. This comes after Affleck's estranged wife, Jennifer Gardner, was photographed walking into his home yesterday and later drove off with him in the back seat. The couple filed for divorce in 2017 after more than a decade of marriage, but it is not yet finalized. In an ongoing effort to protect the environment, Kroger says it will phase out the use of plastic bags by 2025. The nation's largest grocery chain orders about 6 billion of them each year. Kroger CEO calls the decision, quote, a bold move that'll better protect the planet. The company has also been redesigning milk jugs to use less plastic. The move is part of a broader shift by companies worldwide to reduce waste, especially plastic. It's the end of an era. One of the biggest comedy shows on television will go out with a bang. The Big Bang Theory is ending after season 12. The show, about a group of sci-fi loving intellectuals, debuted back in 2007. The Big Bang Theory will end as the longest running multi-camera sitcom in TV history. At its conclusion, the show will have aired 279 episodes. Well, we're just a few weeks away now from the official start of the new school year, and if you slacked over the summer on your normal routine and eating habits, we're on your side with some tips to get you back in the groove.
Roll over, squat, roll over, squat, a movement.
Whoa, and the aftermath of a high-speed chase caught on camera when a police squad car rolls over. That dramatic video coming up. In an age of selfies, filters, and social media, more teens are seeking plastic surgery. But doctors say it's time to clamp down on many of those procedures. According to new guidelines out of the American Society of Plastic Surgeons, procedures that repair deformities in the nose or ears are typically safe for kids and teens. Breast reductions to ease back and neck pain are also okay, but not until after puberty. However, breast augmentation and liposuction are not recommended for teens. And of course, any procedure should be performed by a board-certified plastic surgeon. If over the summer months you might have slipped off the bandwagon when it comes to healthy eating, back to school can be a great time to refocus on your routine and eating habits. Teresa Snow is on your side with some tips that food doctors recommend for starting your day.
In the Rodriguez house, 8 a.m. is go time.
You got it?
Our focus is breakfast, clothes on, backpack ready.
But it's that first step, breakfast, that can sometimes be the biggest challenge.
How do you put in enough variety and nutrition and make sure it's something they'll eat? It's a lot.
Dr. Julie Bernard is a pediatrician at University of Missouri Healthcare and an expert in weight management. She says eggs, peanut butter, or some lean deli meats are a good place to start.
One of our big hunger hormones is called ghrelin, and protein actually helps to suppress that level after you eat. So if you eat a little bit of protein, it helps you to stay fuller for longer.
Fresh fruit can also help kids stay full and focused.
Whole pieces of fruit are definitely better than fruit juice, which just tends to contain a lot of sugar and not so much the fiber that a whole piece of fruit would give you.
For drinks, Dr. Bernard says to stick with water or low-fat milk. It's a lesson this family hopes their daughters take to heart.
We want whatever eating habits they develop now to carry throughout their whole lives.
Starting with a meal that carries them through the whole day.
And doctors recommend you avoid sugary cereals in the morning, as well as easy-to-grab foods like toaster pastries and granola bars. They tend to have a lot of sugar and not much fiber, so kids don't stay full and focused for very long. Heartbroken Virginia Beach parents are suing rideshare service Lyft. They say their son was pepper sprayed by a driver and left on the side of a highway. Coming up, why they are blaming the company for his death.
And a nice afternoon, no complaints. Can you believe this? It's August, 79 degrees, full sunshine, low humidity. This cannot be true. Well, it is. We have a taste of autumn that's settled in. I'll have more on your cool night ahead coming up.
RVA Parenting, sponsored by Bon Secours.
It is back to school time, and if your kid is making the switch to middle school, we know that can come with some extra anxiety for parents and students. That's why we're talking to a middle school mom who's been there before. Coming up at 5, Sarah Bloom is on your side with what you can do now to help make the move as smooth as possible. Whoa, this high-speed chase comes to a dramatic end when a police officer overturns his cruiser. This happened early this month in Wisconsin. Dashcam video shows the officer performing a pit maneuver on a suspect's car to try and bring the chase to an end. Well, that's when he loses control and overturns. The officer suffered minor injuries but is expected to be okay. Meanwhile, the 26-year-old suspect faces numerous charges. And now to a developing story in Virginia Beach where a couple is suing rideshare giant Lyft for their son's death. The couple says one of Lyft's drivers is the reason the 23-year-old Justin Lavelle is dead. Justin was living in LA, and just after midnight back in January, he ordered a Lyft rideshare. According to the lawsuit, a dispute took place between Justin and the driver. Attorneys say Justin was pepper sprayed by the driver and then forced out of the car on a busy California highway where he was hit and killed by another car.
The 110 is one of probably the busiest highways in the country, and there couldn't be a worse time to be dropped off. People are driving very fast. There's poor lighting.
According to his parents, attorneys, 2 other passengers say Justin was not acting out of the ordinary before they were dropped off at their destination. Justin's parents now want Lyft to be held accountable so that something like this doesn't happen to anyone else. Sears and Kmart have announced they will close more stores. The parent company for the chain says 46 stores will shut down by the end of November. The move comes amid declining foot traffic in stores and weak online sales. Sears has cut its store count in half over the past 5 years, from more than 1,000 in 2013 to less than 900 today. Liquidation sales are set to begin next week. American Airlines is changing the carry-on restrictions for its cheapest fares. It will allow basic economy passengers to have a carry-on bag starting September 5th. The move puts the rules for its cheapest fares more in line with a competitor, Delta. Airline executives say they still expect about half of passengers to pay for the more expensive coach seats. George Clooney has been named the highest paid actor of 2018. Forbes put him on the top of their new highest paid male actors list. Clooney raked in a cool $239 million this year. Clooney took in $233 million after selling his tequila company last June. Coming in second is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson with $24 million. And rounding out the top 3 is Robert Downey Jr. with $81 million. And let's get you an update on our forecast. A gorgeous day outside, Jim. How long is this going to stick around?
Yeah, for a little while here, Heather. I tell you what, it's just unbelievable. The change we felt now, especially as expected, that dew points have dropped tremendously and the temperature's nice. Look at this is our JES weather site at the Stewart School West End, Henrico County, where it's 78 degrees, just lots of blue skies. And even with all that sunshine, it has not pushed the temperatures much higher than the upper 70s to near 80 degrees. So remarkable coolness for this time of year, 52. Our dew point really low. North wind, we have these upper 70s. Most all of the area is a little warmer. Williamsburg, 81 degrees. Clear scans for us on radar. The bigger picture, just high pressure building in the center of the ridge right about here. So that bodes well for us, keeping things nice and comfortable right on through tomorrow night, even Saturday. And all the weather systems in terms of rain are not going to be a factor for us for a while. Several more days before we see some rain. Here's a look at temperatures for highs today. Pretty much in the 70s throughout much of the Midwest and the Northeast, Mid-Atlantic, even to the south. Charlotte only 81 degrees, mid-80s down toward Atlanta. So tonight for Richmond, all the way into the upper 50s, nice and comfortable. And a really beautiful start to our day tomorrow. Coming up on the news at 5, I'll have more on this first taste of fall we've had during this summer and how long it's going to stay with us. Plus, when we'll see our next chance of rain. It looks like several sunny days are ahead. And in that 7-day, there is a chance of rain. I'll have more on that coming up on the news at 5. Your forecast in just about 45 minutes. Heather?
All right, we'll be watching. Thanks, Jim. After worldwide interest, a 25-pound cat named Bruno has found his perfect home. Bruno became a big sensation because of his hefty size. A Chicago area shelter said applications to adopting came in from all over the world. One couple, though, went the extra mile and they got the adoption. They sent in a song called "Gimme That Fat Cat," written by a member of a theater who is a friend of Bruno's new owners. Bruno's new family said they love him just the way he is, but they still plan to put him on a diet. Poor Bruno. All right, you expect to find fish in the ocean and even some lakes, but did you ever wonder how they get there? Well, in some cases, they fly in. Just take a look at this video. It's the Utah Division of Wildlife Resources stocking high mountain lakes with fish. The agency says transporting the fish by ground takes a lot longer and is more stressful on the fish, so they let the fish skydive. Officials say because the fish are tiny, most are able to survive the drop without tiny parachutes. That was a joke. A 15-year-old with special needs in Wisconsin learned a valuable life lesson, raising a pig to show. And now that he's done, he's doing something special with the money that he earned. Eric Peterson has our story.
With a little coaxing, Wilbur the pig started to stir. For the past month, 15-year-old Cody Otto Stahl has prepared the animal to show at the Manitowoc County Fair.
We made sure that when we talked about Cody taking a pig to the fair that he was going to take care of her. He had to feed and water her.
Joy Otto says her son has muscular dystrophy and autism. A motorized wheelchair gives him a measure of independence.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
All right.
I'm a little nervous. I won't lie, I'm a little nervous. He's excited, he's nervous too.
Cody's mother says her son always loved pigs. His favorite movie is Charlotte's Web and the inspiration for Wilbur's name.
She's so big. Wilbur.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, Cody and 8 other pig handlers made their way to the ring.
They didn't want to hurt anybody or hurt any animals, so they actually just asked if we could do an exhibition class for them.
It didn't take long for Cody to gain some traction and catch up to Wilbur.
Way to go, Cody. Keep moving there.
Similar to a traditional pig show, Wilbur will be auctioned off. All the proceeds will benefit the Miracle League of the Lakeshore, where Cody played baseball for the past 3 years.
It's a great way for him to do something that he loves and us to give back a little bit.
As the exhibition wound down, the crowd gave Cody a standing ovation.
It's uplifting, the kind of stuff. It's good for all kids to see something like this.
The look on Cody's face may have said it all.
Oh, it went great. Yeah, he only got stuck twice in the ring, which was my biggest fear, but he did amazing. And as you could see, he was loving every minute of it out there.
Yeah, he sure was. Well, stay with us. When we come back, we're going to have a look at the stories we're working on for the news at 5 and take a look at these cuties. Boy, they're all lined up getting their lunch today. These are our newborn puppies in our NBC12 Pet Cam. You can check them out, and we'll be right back.
Developing now for 5, Chesterfield County has a new superintendent of schools again. We'll introduce you.
2 people found dead inside a Mechanicsville home late Wednesday night. Deputies say they aren't looking for any suspects. Ahead on NBC12 at 5, I've got the latest on the investigation.
And you won't hear the phrase paper or plastic at Kroger anymore. Find out why the giant grocery chain is making a change. Those stories and all your day's news when you join Carla and me at 5. Heather?
All right, thanks so much. And that does it for us on First at 4. Your local news continues on CW Richmond. I'll see you over there. And Inside Edition is next here on 12. We'll see you back here at 5 o'clock.